Hello. I wanted to do a quick sidekick tutorial for my new #1 fan, and I want to talk about a couple aspects of it. So this is going to assume that you already know how to do a sidekick more or less, okay? I will talk basics, but I'll try to talk about the feeling of a kick and what you should feel as you execute it, okay? So the first thing that I want to talk about is the connection to stomping. We're doing Chagi, the Korean sidekick, or yokogeri. I'm gonna try to get it right in Japanese. I believe it's kekomi. Yokogeri kekomi. There's a snapping and there's a thrusting. We're doing the thrusting one. So this is gonna be a lot of glute activation, okay? What I wanna liken it to is when you stomp. So if you look at my legs, when I lift my leg up and I have a tight chamber here, if I go straight down, I'm gonna use my glute to drive the leg, okay? I could just let gravity pull it, but I wanna really drive it down. And there is a little bit of hamstring maybe at the end, but it's not a quadricep intensive kick like a front kick or a round kick, okay? So practice lifting and driving and feeling that sinking, falling motion, okay? Once you've got that, you want to start to think about the base foot and what the base foot's doing. It's got to pivot. So you want to get comfortable lifting the heel slightly, lifting, and then having the ability to turn on the ball of the feet. We turn on the balls of the feet because the toes give us little rudders, all kinds of fine motor control through the ankle and the muscles that are there, as opposed to on the heel. So once you get this, right, not too high, but once you get the heel lift, then you can start to work the hip turn. So if you just see me from the waist down, I chamber, and I'm assuming that this is a low kick, okay? But I want to do it properly before I start worrying about high kicks. When I throw this kick, I twist, I pivot my bottom foot, and I lift, and I point my butt toward my target, okay? I keep this up. I thrust with the glute, and then I pull it back, okay? So that twisting motion from the leg up into the hip and then out through the glute, out into the leg, that's where the power for the side kick, the thrusting action comes from. So practice that lift and drop, okay? And it all comes from this pivot working up into this hip turn, okay? A drill I recommend is getting a wall, putting your hand on it, lifting the leg, doesn't have to be high, and just practicing this, lift the heel, pivot point, and back. Pivot point, back, pivot point, back, pivot point. You want your toes going in the opposite direction from the kick. If I kick this way, toes of the base foot point in the opposite direction. That leads into the alignment of the kick. If my target's here, my leg goes straight out, and I want a straight line drawn from my heel all the way up to my head, so that the majority of my mass is behind the strike, okay? Some people kick, and you can see this sort of V through my hip. That's not what we want. More or less straight, okay? More or less. Bang, bang. The other thing that I should talk about is the position of the foot. So we're trying to curl the big toe up and use the edge, the pinky edge of the foot, working mostly with the heel. It's weaker closer to the toes, it's stronger closer to the heel. So however you do the kick, those are all things that should inform your practice of it. You should have the feeling of stomping and of dropping your body slightly, okay? That's much harder to feel the higher up you do the kick. When you kick, think about the pivot so that you can turn the hips. Kicking from your guard, you can use the front leg or the back leg, and all these things stay true, okay? So I'll throw a couple kicks, I'm gonna try to pivot, I'm gonna feel my hips turn, and I'm gonna use the glutes, okay? Try to aim that one better, that was off to the corner. My teacher nailed me with one of these in the ribs today. I'm really lucky. He pulled it a little bit, so it doesn't hurt that much, but I can still feel it. Feels like my hips are over there somewhere. He kicked them right out from under my spine. As you start to work this into sparring, the load can become smaller, okay? When I load generally for form, I tuck up to my chest. I pivot and I drive. But when I spar, I might load on the center line and flick it out. Okay? Much tinier load. Or maybe I lift and point the impact surface toward the target. It's a sneakier version, maybe a little less powerful, but sneakier. Just to lift and pop. There. Okay? Almost a back kick. Anyway, hopefully that'll help. So feel the pivot, feel the turning action in the foot and the hips, and think about the glutes driving the kicking leg into whatever you're